Well, my friends, it is officially October, and you know what that means? That means it's time to start the Octpoember poem writing challenge again. And I am really excited this year because, well, there are going to be some new prompts that you might get to experience. But ultimately, I just find this to be very fun to do because it's challenging and it kind of encourages us to kind of create our own set of content that, could be submitted for publication in the future, turned into, a full-on collection, etc. So, just to give you a brief overview of what Octopoember is, I am going to do a screen share and show you my website because I have all of the details on the website. Um, Let me bring it up here really quickly. So if you look at the website, let me change the view here so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. So basically, in 2019, I created Octopoember because, well, artists have Inktober, like fiction writers have NaNoWriMo, and truthfully, like a lot of people do poetry challenges in April because April's National Poetry Month. However, being that it's fall, like I just find fall to be a very convenient poem writing time. So I was like, we need like a fall challenge. So I was like, I'm gonna try to create something. So I whipped together Octopoember. The first year it was just like write a poem a day. Like it was more of like the independent track, as opposed to creating prompts. So I decided to create some prompts starting last year to give people different options for what they want to do when it comes to participating in this 31-day poem writing challenge. So, how to participate? You can have a Word document, you can have a notebook. If you prefer typing over handwriting or vice versa, whatever mode that works best for you, go for it. But basically, you just start, some sort of document, and then you select which track that you want to follow for Octopoember. Sometimes people will bounce between the two tracks that I've given, but beyond that, like this is entirely what you prefer to do. So the first track is the prompt track. So I started this last year, like I mentioned, because I find like some people find that like having a prompt to focus on makes it a little bit more easy, and I feel the same way. I typically use the prompt track. However, if I get stuck on one of these prompts, I might switch to the independent track for a day and then just, whip up whatever I want. Um, but as you can see here, I have a prompt for each day or a theme for each day throughout the month of October, and you need to write a poem based on this theme. If you look below here, I do have descriptions for each theme that gives you an idea. If it's like one where you have to write a sonnet and you don't know how to write a sonnet, I have a link right here that shows you some guidelines and directions for writing sonnets. But yes, there is ultimately a description for each prompt for you to follow. Now, keep in mind, I have some new prompts in this year that I hope that people might find interesting. I threw in some new ones. I think there's 8 new prompts. Artificial intelligence is a new one. Writing a poem about artificial intelligence. Thresholds in life, that's a new one. The concept of sonder. Scuba dive, concrete jungle. Obviously, these are kind of my biased ones because I love writing a lot about nature. Let's see. Persona play, boundaries, and historic. Those are also 3 brand new prompts that I hope that you might find interesting. But yes, like each and every day, just tune back into the website here. Look at the prompt. If you want to like maybe save the image or like save a link to this page on my website, feel free to do so. The URL is donnywinter.com/Octopoember 2023 Daily Poem Writing Challenge. So as you go through and do the Octopoember challenge, you're more than welcome to share your poems on social media. If you do, I ask you to use hashtag Octopoember challenge or hashtag Octopoember to kind of get it circulating because I want more people to participate. However, you don't need to share your work if you don't feel comfortable doing so, or maybe you can just share excerpts of the poems, whatever works best for you. There are some poems throughout monthly challenge that I don't share, mostly because maybe they're super duper rough and I might need to edit them. But again, like, don't let that be pressure for you either. Like, the whole purpose of Octoember is to just write on the spot. Like, these poems are expected to be rough drafts. You don't need to worry about them, being messy or anything like that. That's the whole purpose behind it. Okay. Now, going down, like if you don't really like prompts and you would prefer a more independent track, you can just follow the independent track, meaning like throughout the month of October, write one poem per day. Try your best. You have the power to choose what you want to write, free of any boxes or confines. All right. Now, with that thought in mind, I do have some best practices that I want to share with you about Octoember. Um, so basically, I obviously select whichever medium that you're comfortable with. Most of the poems are not form focused, aside from like a few of the prompts. So I'm expecting them just to be free verse, unless you have like a specific style that you write in. I always recommend try to set aside designated time every day to write, create a routine. If you fall behind, though, you can always catch up. If you need to skip a day, that's totally fine. Again, no pressure. Okay. Again, like there's a prompt that you don't like, feel free to switch to the independent track for a day. And of course, like I mentioned, you can share your work if you choose. In fact, I've been thinking about creating a Facebook group for this. I might post a poll on social media just to get some ideas on if people would want that. Now, when it comes to content discretion, please be mindful of your own mental health, because there are some poems that might expect you to reflect on your past or trauma or, difficult topics that might challenge your comfort levels. So only write about what you feel comfortable with. Okay. At the end of the day, your mental health is most important. All right. Anyway, I am really excited to do this. I look forward to seeing what you all have to produce. And again, if you choose to share your work, I look forward to reading your poems. Anyway, happy October 2023. Have a good rest of the month. Bye.